Only 2 chairs need to be filled. Someone always has to be reading from that paper. Someone always has to be running in place.
We are the ideal Democratic scholars because we succeeded despite facing adversity.
We are the ideal democratic citizens because we never make our students feel stupid or out of line.
We're the ideal democratic citizens because we don't make people feel uncomfortable.
We are the ideal democratic scholars because we speak 3 languages. And though we could hold lengthy conversations in all of them, we do not consider ourselves fluent in 2 of them because we are humble. We bring in fidget toys for our students who have a hard time focusing, but we find a way not to single them out. We learn our students, and we talk to them after hours, trying to figure out ways in which we can bolster their learning and smooth their challenges.
We are ideal democratic citizens because we contribute to achieving our nation's goals. We are ideal democratic citizens because we are creative leaders.
We are ideal democratic citizens because we are informed and we're engaged.
We are ideal democratic citizens because we don't watch reality television. In fact, we don't even watch cable. We certainly don't let our kids watch Disney or go to Disney World. We would rather they travel the real world than traipse around the westernized commercial tourist traps selling American ideas of what other citizens look like.
Pause. Move your chair there. Move your chair there. All 2 chairs need to be filled. Someone always has to be running in place. Someone doesn't always have to be reading from this. When someone reads from this person reading in place has to continually answer the question, why?
After they finish reading, or like while they're reading, that person needs to be, sorry. While they're reading, the person who's running needs to be answering the question why for each sentence.
No, when they're done reading, justify until they sound the buzzer.
Cool, great, thank you.
Can people swap out mid-justification?
Yes.
Cool.
Can you read from a seat?
3 seats will not be filled.
You have to read up here.
Hello. So these guys, so it's the same like logical thing, like these guys keep.
Okay.
So
Oh.
after
No, I'm sorry.
Alright, so after statement is read, that person is justifying it, or whoever, like, people can sub in to run and justify,
Mm-hmm.
but you're justifying that same statement until the buzzer sounds.
And
Okay.
these will never actually all be filled, right?
No.
Well, yes, they can.
Well, okay, yeah.
If this person finishes reading their statement, then they can go sit back down.
Okay, right.
So the 2 people here, is it like? Yeah. Okay.
It's like, yeah.
It's
Like I
like
stand up and I do it, and while I'm doing it, you guys are swapping off reading,
Right.
and I sit back down, and he's justifying until,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
We are the ideal democratic citizen because we are independent thinkers.
Because it's important to not be told everything and just vomit it out like a fucking parrot. Because there are people who don't have the liberty to free think and think that the only thing that they can say is something that they've read in a book, or something that their parents told them, or something that their teacher told them, or something that they saw on CNN or Fox News or fucking Breitbart, I don't know. But I don't know, it's important to take advantage of the privilege that you've been given. Because free thinking isn't just something that everyone's allowed to do. And free thinking is something that you should take by the horns, because free thinking is what creates the most amazing things in the world. Free thinking is what made this university, and free thinking is what made the clothes on my body. Because, I don't know, this looks like it would be out of, like, fashion like 2 years ago, which kind of sucks, because I really like this, but this wouldn't even be possible if some person was like, geez, I really like that outfit, and I could, like, make things that are really cool because of that. And free thinking is something that my parents did, but that my grandparents never did. I don't know. maybe not in the conventional sense, but they use like really weird rap voice, and I guess that counts. But I don't know. It's just free thinking is Grecian and ancient, and free thinking is philosophy, and free thinking is the guy who's in charge of what's the name of that guy? Oh geez, an exercise supposed to jog your brain. Oh, that's funny. Oh. It's that guy who
Okay, new rule. It's not the buzzer that decides, you guys decide when you're satisfied, and you go read the next one.
okay.
You can't switch out the jogger now.
Oh, I forgot we could.
I'm so sorry, Library.
Oh, it's so funny.
Oh.
Ready? Everyone understand?
So just stand up and say a statement. Okay.
We are ideal democratic citizens because we work with persistence and dedication to our craft that ultimately results in near perfect results. When it doesn't, we try again and we keep trying. We may come across as stern, we may come across as too serious, and we may come across as unfriendly, but we have had enough experience to ignore that and focus on the experience we are creating for our customers. We cook multiple eggs at a single time, all starting with a uniform cracked on the edge of the grill and ending with a well-served sunny side up or over easy.
Because it is important that every customer gets the same experience. Because every experience has to be perfectly uniform. Because it has to be uniform in the way that it is good and that the customer is getting exactly what they want.
Because the customer is paying good money for it, and when you
Okay,
pay,
so the new rule is that
Oh, I'm
you
so
can't
sorry.
switch out the jogging. When you're satisfied with their answer, you can come and say,
Thank you, Brian.
let's start from the next one.
We are ideal democratic citizens because we do not settle if you are unhappy. Because we do not settle if we are unhappy.
because unhappiness is not in the Constitution, and the Constitution is the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Because our founding fathers were growing up in the age of enlightenment and said that all people deserve to be happy, because all people meant all white men, people is what they meant by that, because that's the culture they lived in. It wasn't like they were talking to the people from different countries or like the women. It's just they were in their bars doing their thing, because that's what enlightenment individuals did. It was a fun time to be alive. They were smoking a lot, is what I heard.
We are the ideal Democrat scholars because we are able to solve problems collaboratively.
Because we are taught that in middle and high school and then college, because it is important for us to take art classes and theater classes and choir classes and dance classes in order to use our minds creatively. Because if we don't use our minds creatively, then we're not going to innovate later on. Because the whole point of science is to keep on innovating, keep on coming up with something better and something.
We are the ideal democratic citizens because we make anyone laugh. We are called a golden retriever because we have long blonde hair and are best friends to all. We are smart but never show it. We are strong but are always gentle.
Because it's important to not show your best assets in public. Because you can't give away your secret weapon. Because you need to keep something for when the attack comes. Because it's important to have many options for all possible scenarios. Because you need to survive. Because that's what people do. They survive. Because there's nothing really more than surviving. And
We are the ideal democratic citizens because we do not let the sun come up if we haven't shown the moon something new the night before. Every night is somehow one or another of the craziest stories we have ever heard. On New Year's Eve, we were just talking to a girl. Let's call her Nikki for good measure. But then she stood up and started making out with the rest of the bar, like everyone. And so you got up to leave for the night, but then the crazy girl Nikki comes running after us, and she says, "Wait, I'm coming home with you guys, honey." And you're like, "Dick's not on," you just start sprinting. But she's chasing us, and we're screaming, and it's raining, and you jump into the bush, and she runs we jump into the bush and she runs by. So after a while, we pop out and run back towards your car. But once you get there, Crazy Nikki is coming back down the street after us. But farther back, Crazy Michelle is chasing her. And that's when we agreed it was okay for the sun to wake the hell up.
Pause. Bring back the other desk. What line? Does anyone need water? Yeah, take a water break. So, you can be sitting or standing when you're like, you don't have a particular task that you're doing, but you have to be over by the chairs. When the person is reading from the paper, everyone is completely still. And then I'd like to try if the person who read from the paper then has to start running while everyone else justifies.
So then how do you stop?
Oh, that doesn't make sense. I'd like to try. Someone else stands up and justifies. So they're not running. The person who read it is running.
And is it the same way of ending that someone else will then stand up and read a statement?
Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's try that.
We are the ideal democratic citizen because we don't pursue purely private ends and seek to promote our own welfare without regard to the social consequences of our activities.
Because it's important to look out for the common good.
Exactly.
Because society relies on individuals who have been successful to tenfold their communities. Because these are the people that contribute to raising you. And if you're in public school or trick-or-treated, then those individuals have invested in your life. And even if we aren't talking about maybe America, but morally, it's important to look for those around you who have had an impact on your life and pay your respects to the people who sacrifice nights and weekends and seconds just thinking about you or caring about you and sending your duty your way, because it's important in the grand scheme of things to...
We are the ideal democratic citizens because we are not afraid to speak our mind and tell the truth.
Because honesty is the only thing that will further us as a society. Because if we aren't honest, then we're not addressing the reality that we're in. And if we're not addressing the reality that we're in, we can't go forward from that. Because we have to go forward in order to create progress. But we need to address our current situation in order to know what we're progressing from. And because we need to continue progressing in order to become a better society. And because we need to become a better society, because the current reality isn't a very good one.
We're the ideal democratic citizen because we are really good at braiding hair. All of our children are successful, beautiful people. We have had an audience with the Queen. We write children's stories about birds, and we claim we can talk to birds.
Because when you think about it, birds and humans have a lot in common when it comes to language. Because what may sound like a tweet or like a whistle isn't much unlike the common notes and subtle lulls and common pronunciations. Just like humans use innuendos and euphemisms to like, so do birds in a different way, but with off tones and
We are the
positive
ideal
feedback.
democratic citizens because we are good at test taking.
Because we've had so much practice test taking our entire lives. We're tested every year from, first grade on, because the government needed a way to standardize education and to standardize our learning, because if they weren't able to do that, then they wouldn't know what schools needed the most help, what schools needed more funding, what schools had enough funding. Because without that standardized way, they have no way of ranking schools and ranking teachers, because they need to rank teachers if they want to make sure that all kids are getting an education that is like other kids. Because it needs to be fair. Education needs to be a fair thing. Education needs to be fair. Because if it isn't fair, then our merit system isn't working. Because if our merit system isn't working, then our education system is flawed. And we need to address that. Because we need to strive for perfection in education. Because if we're not striving for perfection in education, then what are we doing even with education when other countries are passing us in their literacy rates? And
We are the
Much like a bird.
You spoke so slowly. I was just like, all right, let's go, Aubrey. Get to the point, Aubrey.
oh my god, it's so